Hi everyone, sunny greetings in a rainy day, so greetings in a rainbow way today, as the subject requires that. There is something that perhaps needs a little bit more clarification about fragmentation of the soul, taking over soul, stealing the soul, loss of the soul. Does it even happen? Stealing the essence of the soul or particles of the soul, our talents, blocking our talents. What's going on with the subject? I got some few more emails about complaints that there is someone who's doing that and you are suspecting it's happening. And all these things are also related with so-called possessions or attempts of the possession. I am not going to talk about it, but sure, if you are compromised in any way, on any level, then surely something else wants to take a bit of your space too. So it can happen, but the most important thing, yes, it can happen, but not fully, like, you know, soul loss. If you would lose the soul completely, I don't think you would be able to make a phone call for help. Probably it would be like from my first, the Oracle series in the first book, when I had those visions of the glimpses of zombies with white eyes and with such imagination, of course, on my side, and the glimpses like it happened. It was a very strong vision. These people are usually unable, not capable of doing anything. They are taken over in a different sort of way. The soul is somewhere else. It doesn't belong to the body. So I do not think, if someone tells you that, I would be very, very careful and verify that information. But I think what can happen is the particles of the soul, particles of energy, particle of our power, of our talents or blockages. So it could be some misuse of that through traumas. Traumas are the most powerful ways that we are losing. Nobody's taking away that. We are losing it. But of course, there are people who are doing shady things and they have sort of a dark side of practice, and maybe they are in a, kindergarten. Sort of they have to experiment still, and they are curious what kind of consequences they will have, or maybe none, or they do it because they can, because they learned that. And yeah, we call them, they are bad people out there. They are people who are doing shady things, and then they can try to influence you in a negative way and try to block your talents or take away your talents. And these are usually happening in a shamanistic way. I think a lot of shamans are talking about it, and they do talk a lot about soul loss, the particles of the soul. But in a natural way, well, natural traumas are the first thing, and these are happening not only when we are already alive in our childhood, but when we are in womb with our mom, and something in the prenatal time is happening to our mom and environment and our parents, and also it's coming from genealogy and our ancestors. So these things can continue to our future. And also when we are children, this is the most powerful thing, because any form of abuse that time, any form of accidents, it's causing bigger traumas, but not necessarily. Later on in early adulthood, we have toxic relationships, situations at work, being put down by people, or deaths, other form of traumas. So there is a lot of factors that causing naturally that. But there is also those people, as I mentioned, that are doing shady things, and they are trying to influence us negatively. And just as many of you, mostly Polish people, actually told me about such negative experiences. I don't know if you had, but I would love to hear about it, because the more we know, the better we are prepared. And some of the people are giving more power to those people by thinking how strong they are, how big magic they have, thinking about it constantly. And fortunately, this gives them more power. So do not give them more power by overthinking, by giving more energy to it. And the most difficult thing is to control your own emotions here. And it's not feelings, but emotions more, because emotions are the fuel and can sometimes, when not controlled, they can really burn us. So before you state that someone else, before you blame someone, before you decide that someone else is influencing you and taking away your energy, your particles of your soul, verify first. And there are, of course, many factors why you feel bad. And are these dreams that you are having glimpses? Something is happening in your life, the series of events, the certain synchronicity. Are you feeling tired? Because if you cannot sleep and you basically you have a healthy lifestyle, you can sleep at night and you sleep well, but you are continuously tired, and sure, there is something off when they shouldn't be. So the most important is to verify that indeed other factors are out. We are not dealing with something else, other sort of traumas. And here are the few symptoms how you can check, but be careful, because those symptoms are also connected with other traumas. So any sort of enormous tiredness when you are actually having a good lifestyle, this is a little bit off. Sort of like a depression, a split of personalities, schizophrenia. If there is no other cause, like, you could be traumatized, and therefore that's the consequence, that's the result, but you never exhibited any of those, and it's sudden, and it was never activated before, then yeah, check that one. Enormous missing something or someone. And this is a typical thing with people. If you are involved in a toxic relationship and you don't know why you're still enormously missing this person, probably this person may be, or you give it away, this person may have no idea even about it. You gave away parts of yourself to someone who probably doesn't even want this. So you have to collect those particles back, and this is the psychobiology that will do it. And I was talking about it before, so I won't repeat, because you already know this, how to do this. There is another symptom, like too quickly entering relationships, because basically you don't trust yourself, or you trust other people more than yourself, or you want to trust someone quickly, and you entering one relationship after another, causing a lot of toxic relations. So there is another one, dissociation, lack of emotion. You went through very traumatic things, you didn't deal with them, and you do not have strong emotions or any of the emotions about it. And here we need to be careful about, we may not experience those strong emotions because we just work this through, and that's okay. But this needs to be verified, Strong tendencies to autodestruction. That's another one. Suicidal, being suicidal, dangerous behaviors. And I mentioned one time about this person that was having a strong urge, like someone talked in his head, to drive faster and do dangerous things. And we discovered he got the painting of the devil and he put it in his bedroom, and when he took it off, these voices stopped in his head. So it wasn't schizophrenia, he was absolutely normal. He didn't have depression ever. And these sort of things, I do not know who wished him so wrong. It was a long time ago, but yeah, these sort of things, that when you fix this in an easy way, like taking off the painting and it stops, then surely it wasn't anything psychological sickness. So if you also know someone who seemed to be off for you, and like you suspect that something was taken away from this person on an emotional level, psychologically, particles of the soul or talents were blocked, or this person is amazingly talented but cannot, is not inspired to do something for months, for years, and it was enormous talent. Be careful about making conscious too quickly that person, because if this person experience using any of the protection mechanism, it could be that is most functional in a situation that it is, and those protective mechanisms are allowing us to function. So be careful when you are trying to assist or you are asked to assist, and check if this person is ready for it to hear, to check it out, to answer a few questions, because those protective mechanisms are there for a reason. It makes us functional in the first place, so worse things won't happen. Remedies. There are thousands of methods you can deal with alone or with someone, and I always recommend specialist, but a real specialist. And here is very difficult for most of the people, and I heard so many, and I also verify many people, and I know how hard it is to encounter psychotherapist that is trained in a clinical psychology but open to other form of assistance. And I always wanted to recommend someone who is having the education with clinical psychology and clinical studies, because these people are enormously well trained, consider the ethics, how being moral and so on. And of course it's not 100%, but you have a better chance there, but they have to be also open for other forms of alternative helping assistance. You know very well from the previous videos, I love to work with psychobiology, and there are a few videos already with Jason Thompson, with some of them are in Polish language with other two ladies, Ewa Habros and Joanna Helmicka, and they are great and they are helping. But for those who are a little bit lazy at the beginning, or not lazy, but you don't have a clarity, the Bach essence, so oils, are already helpful on this physical level to clarify the energy, to make a space for us so we can feel ourselves if we are in the turmoil. The funny thing is, recently, if you have someone like that, that's why I always encourage dreamers, those who dream, who dream lucidly, to connect, to build those very small groups, stay together and verify each other's information you are getting. Some of you dream for someone else, and recently it happened that someone dreamt for me, and the girl, she dreamt for me a specific number of Bach essence, and it is amazing because you can apply it and see if it helps And also, before you trust someone completely, this person usually also says that, please just take this information, check it out, and see if it's helpful. It just came to me. I'm not saying 100% it's helpful, but I dreamt about you. So that was interesting part. Some of the people, when they are in this turmoil, it helps also with the clarity. It happened so many times to me, perhaps to you, that someone calling and it telling me, look, something is off, but I don't know what I'm feeling. Do you know what I'm feeling? It is to such a degree, because we not always want to feel the negative emotion, and sometimes we need a moment to realize what's happening with us. And if we have a friends like that can help us with it, conscious friends, stay together. The most important is to not stay alone, and reach out to someone you trust, and someone that that can also recommend you someone else. And sure, the people that I work with and I can recommend, they are not always the best for someone else, because it is about energy, resonating with someone, and so on. Any kinds of prayer, doesn't matter from what culture, any time that we are connecting with some form of a higher intelligence, soul, prayer, reaching out, saying simple words, even if we don't feel it straight away, but we are intending, sending the prayer out there, that already has the healing impact on us straight away. And the more we can feel the thankfulness for that, thank immediately, even if it didn't happen yet, the more we are strengthening the power of that prayer, so that we know. And here I always recommend dance, because by the movement, when we move, those information, the traumatic sometimes information from the incidents that happen to us, we shake it off. We move the energy within us and around us. We also gain energy through it. So we also the voice, sound, voice, singing or hearing to the song of other healers, shamans, hearing the drums, that is also having enormous healing effect. And of course, the super psychotherapist that I wish everyone can find and work on the long term, because anytime you are in this mode of, oh my God, I need help now, and someone is very likely, you are more likely to be tricked by someone who's offering, hey, here it is, one session and 20 years of your life will be fixed. Usually these are tricks. Sure, the results have to follow. So you're supposed to feel lighter, better, relieved. You're supposed to have result, and in your environment, that's the quality of your relationship, your work, maybe financial flow gets better. These are usually not drastic changes, although they can be feeling miraculous, and many of us had those incidents when the intention was pure, stated, and we work with one super psychotherapist and the next day already the changes were following. That happens, but it is always more like an onion theory, where layer after layer we are following the path of self-realization. And for those of you who are into self-work, I always recommend Arnold Mindell work and his amazing studies. And sure, some of you are courageous and would like to try this shape-shifting. So there is a method, but I only want to say that training yourself in being aware about your emotions, feelings, thoughts, symptoms, dreaming, relationships, what's happening out there in the world, it takes practice, and it's harder to do it. It takes discipline daily, and it's harder to do it yourself. But if you do not have anyone currently, you can try. But if you feel any sort of resistance, stop. because perhaps you're not ready for it yet, or there is something that you should do maybe another time, or with someone that can lead you safely through it. But if you like to try, the recent, actually, what I heard from you was about being betrayed, abused, having narcissistic relationships. So there was more on the relationships level, and also being nagged by someone concerning the soul. So like you reported to me that someone is coming to you on an astral plane and is wishing you wrong and doing some rituals on you, and you sense it, and I'm not laughing about it. I do not laugh at that, because this is your unique experience. So whatever is there, you could shapeshift into that person, and this may be difficult because it depends on the level of what happened. So that was very, very violent, it was sexual abuse, it was this is usually not possible for such people, because well, you know very well why. I do not have to explain that, but it's almost impossible to connect. There's a big resistance, and I'm not recommending to go. But if you have sort of, let's take betrayal, for example. When that happens to a lot of people, the basic question is, where am I betraying myself in my life? It may reveal something for you. So just a simple question. If you're not able to shapeshift for a second into the oppressor of what happened to you, you may ask just the question and take a moment to think, because it's very likely, and the psychology already discovered that if you are dealing with narcissistic personality, there is a big chance there is some narcissistic behaviors and aspects within you. And so we are always connected in this oneness and related. So we have everything within ourselves, and by understanding that sort of energy and coming out for a second into blaming that this is wrong, sure, it is wrong, everybody knows, but coming out of that and trying to understanding why this energy was so violent, we could come up with something that will serve us right now in our life. So if I discover where I am betraying myself, where I'm not paying attention to my needs, I can write it down, make a note, and then I can ask myself, for example, how I can do that in my life now. Can I do that even? What can help me? If I cannot do anything, if I feel trapped, can I get help with someone else to help me to do that? So there is always something like that. So this is related. The narcissistic behavior, of course, it's about assertiveness, where I'm not holding my borders with the world. It could be within myself. It could be that I cannot stop the compulsive behaviors, and we all have that to a certain degree. So that can already help in a way to start working on it. If it's very, very traumatic, I always recommend the specialist that is recommended by someone else, or you know, or you verify, or you try it out. And I know how difficult it can be to find someone, and I checked a lot, and I had a lot of negative experiences, but I also had a great therapist that I work with all over the world, and they were amazing. And it was worth, and perhaps it was just the grace. I was looking for such a long time that maybe I had the grace of finding. So anytime you feel like giving up, maybe make just the intention out there to let the best person show up on your way. Because if you search intensely, it comes at a certain point, it comes a moment when you have enough, when you give up. So if you are in that spot and you need to work on something because the situation requires it, then sure, you have to stop, but send an intention so the best person may appear for you in the right time. So it's sometimes it's better to do it with the prayer than actually with the physical search for it. Okay, I think this is it for today. I hope it clarified a little bit about this taking away particles of our souls and how to get it back, and those sorts of remedies. Don't stay alone out there. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your experiences, because we are stronger when we share the information, pass the information, and we learn from each other. Have a wonderful time in whatever you're doing, and inspiring time. Bye bye.